to hear of her passing.
Theo swallowed. "Thank you, sir." Lucius took a deep breath.
In this house, Master Knot, you will find a number of rooms which are warded shut. If you find a locked door, do not attempt to open it with magic. The House of Malfoy is home to a number of antiques, many of which are of magical character, and some of which are quite dangerous if misused. You will not seek them out. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
In the back of the house is the ophidarium, within which are housed a great many snakes, many of which are quite poisonous. There are also stables here on the grounds which house several Abraxan flying stallions. Abraxans are also quite dangerous to those not trained in handling them. They are also carnivorous manators when they get the chance. You will not enter the ophidarium, nor will you visit the stables unless you in my company. Do you understand?
Theo swallowed again. "Yes, sir." Then Lucius smiled.
If you obey those rules, Theodore not, then I promise you this.
He bent down to look Theo squarely in the eye.
You will be safe here. No matter what your father may have told you of me, no matter what you may think of me that I was once your father's associate, I swear on the honor of House Malfoy that you will be safe from all harm while you are my guest.
Theo relaxed at that.
Thank you, sir. It is an honor to be a guest in your home.
Lucius nodded and then called out. Prixie, Lemmy, Dobby, Mowgli, 4 house elves popped into the foyer. Theo regarded them with some interest. 2 looked like normal house elves. The third one, Dobby, seemed unusually anxious and fidgety. The fourth one, Mowgli, was different from the other 3 and had an almost feral gleam in its eyes. It reminded Theo uncomfortably of his father's more dangerous house elves.
Prixie, please escort Master Knot here to his rooms. He will be staying in the second East Wing guest room, across from Master Draco. Dobby, convey his baggage to that room. Lemmy, I would like to have dinner at 7 o'clock. Something special to welcome our new guest.
Lemmy curtsied and smiled at the thought of cooking something particularly exotic. Then Lucius spoke more coldly to the 4th house elf.
Mowgli, remain here. Master Theo, Prixie will show you to your room where you can refresh yourself before dinner.
Theo bowed respectfully and followed Prixie up the stairs as the other 2 elves popped away. Once the others were gone, Lucius stared balefully at Mowgli. "Has your mistress given you any instructions regarding Theodore not Mowgli?" The strange elf let out a soft growl from deep within its throat. "None, master." Lucius stared at his wife's favorite house elf, the one gifted to her by her Auntie Wahlburger as a wedding present. Technically, as head of the household, Mowgli owed its loyalty to Lucius, but it was a slippery, foul little thing, and Lucius never trusted it. "If she gives you any instructions pertaining to Theo not, you will inform me immediately. You will not reveal to her that I have given you this instruction. Do you understand?"
Yes, master,
said Mowgli spitefully. Lucius's jaw clenched.
If you fail to do so, Mowgli, I will give you clothes no matter what your mistress wants. And if any harm comes to Theo not while he is my guest due to your actions or inactions, I will kill you. Do you understand?
Fire flashed in Mowgli's eyes for a brief second before he growled his acknowledgement. Lucius studied the house elf for a moment, as if trying to read its heart, before finally dismissing it. Upstairs, Draco entered the conservatory to find his mother Narcissa playing a fugue on her harpsichord. It was a Muggle piece by someone named Batch or something. According to Narcissa, his musical genius was enough to compensate for his Muggle inferiority, and so playing his music was acceptable to the House of Black, and by extension to the House of Malfoy, as his father didn't care about music whatever its origin. By painful experience, Draco knew not to approach his mother or even to speak while she was playing, and so he waited patiently in the doorway.
"Come closer, dragon,"
she finally said, without looking up from the keyboard. Draco drew near, but still did not speak.
"Your last letter to me was rather terse. Can I assume that there is more that you would tell me if you were able?"
Draco said nothing, and Narcissa sighed.
"We will not speak of this again lest we tempt the wrath of magic. I shall study this matter carefully before choosing a course of action. Yes, I shall definitely make a study of this, Harry Potter."
She continued playing for a few seconds before speaking again.
I must confess, my dragon, I find myself disappointed.
Draco looked down at the ground.
I'm sorry, Mother.
He said very softly. Finally, after a few more uncomfortable seconds, she finished the piece. Then she turned to look at her son for the first time and then held out her arms to him. Draco rushed to embrace his mother.
SHHH, my dragon, it will be all right. Mummy will make it better, she always does.
A little after 5 o'clock, Harry found himself sitting between Hestia and Artemis, Artie to his friends and favoured clients, in a luxurious and yet somehow menacing office on the top floor of Gringotts. On the opposite end of the long table was a goblin account manager who was talking angrily with a subordinate. Well, Harry assumed the goblin was angry. Everything in the goblin tongue sounded like incoherent rage to him. He'd been astonished to learn that the name of the goblin language really was gobbledegook. Apparently, it meant noble tongue to them, but first wizards and then muggles adopted it as a loan word meaning incomprehensible gibberish. Harry shook his head, and wizards wonder why goblin revolts keep happening. Of course, the goblins weren't exactly known for their diplomacy either. Harry had looked into buying an educational potion so that he could learn gobbledegook as a way to show respect, but Hestia and Artie had strongly recommended against it. First, such potions were illegal to sell in Britain under the most recent Goblin Treaty, as goblins didn't want wizards to understand what goblins were saying behind their backs. More importantly, gobbledegook was such a nuanced language that it was trivially easy for a novice speaker to make an embarrassing faux pas or even a horrific insult out of a simple hello. Hestia did suggest that if he wanted to learn it when he was older, the potion was available overseas. She recommended that he learn it, but never let any goblin know about it so that he could listen in on what the goblins assumed were private conversations. After several minutes, the goblin, whose name was Gottchalk, turned to the three wizards.
Based upon the information you have provided, we believe we have a match. However, we will need a blood sample for confirmation. Is that acceptable?
Yes,
Said Hestia, provided that the sample is destroyed completely in the process. Gottchalk waved his hand dismissively, as if only an idiot would have thought otherwise. Then he gestured, and a long blank parchment appeared on the table in front of Harry, along with a red quill pen. There was a line drawn at the bottom of the page for Harry to sign.
You'll need to sign your full wizarding name, which is Hadrian Remus Potter.
Said Artie.
Also, don't bear down on the pen too much, or you might cut yourself.
Harry signed as instructed, only slightly surprised by the faint itching sensation on his arm that tracked the trail of blood-red ink the pen left on the parchment. Remus, huh? Let me guess, Jim's middle name is Romulus or something like that.
No idea, actually.
Replied Podmore.
I'll check if you want.
Harry shrugged. The question wasn't really important to him. As soon as he finished signing, the blood ink that the pen produced turned black, and then the ink spread quickly up the page, forming a crude family tree. First Lily and Petunia Evans, then their mother and father who had both died before he was born, and then other names as the tree grew. Some he recognized, others he did not. About halfway up the page, the spreading ink paused, and then the next name to appear was not in black, but rather a vivid purple. Thinking back to Slytherin's tapestry, Harry was certain he recognized the surname.
Huh.
Said Artie noncommittally, was not expecting that.
Is it good news or bad?
Harry asked. Artie opened his mouth, closed it again, and then considered the matter.
I guess it's what you make of it. It's potentially controversial, maybe even enough for James to make hay out of it, although that will be difficult since your mother and brother are also descendants. But there could be enormous potential as well. I'll have Gottchalk pull the family's asset list.
Any other living heirs?
Possibly, but none that can contest your claim. The Wisengamot gave notice that the house was set for line extinction a few years ago.
He looked over at Harry.
Obviously, that's about to change.
When do we need to announce this to preserve my rights? Do we have enough time for me to come of age first?
Oh yes, we have several years before we need to formally announce anything officially. Plenty of time.
So what can we do with this in the meantime, without letting James or anyone else know about it?
Asked Harry.
Oh, Harry.
Said Hestia with an almost predatory gleam in her eye. All sorts of interesting things. Harry smiled at that.